Hi everybody, Matt back with you. Hope you're okay. As I currently find myself in a little shaded area, I thought now might be the only chance I get to properly talk to you, as I'm expecting it to be very windy as I get further up and thunderstorms predicted. But today it is the open day of Castle Carr in Luddenden Dean. Well, saying it's the open day of the castle, there is only a small piece of castle remaining. But the history and the story of Castle Carr is quite a fascinating one. As I say, it's only open once a day, and people go to see the ruin, but they also go to see the magnificent fountain, which hits about 130 feet into the air and is apparently still the second highest spouting fountain in the UK. Hopefully those thunderstorms don't hit, and there's lots to tell you about Castle Carr, including the fact that my original plan for this channel was I was going to film for a year and finish. My last video would have been at Castle Carr, and that was going to be it. That didn't happen because I didn't get to the open day. The channel continued and will continue after today, unless I get hit by lightning, of course. Fingers crossed not. Right, I'm waffling. Let's crack on. So I'm starting today in Old Town. We're heading up the hill and over the top. So the reason I'm going this way to get to Luddenden Dean is because literally just drop over the top of the hill and I'm there. The plan is I think you're supposed to gather at Catithwell pub. That's a long way for me to get to. Yeah, so I'm going to drop over, hopefully manage to get in at the same time. The rain clouds are now gathering, as you can see. But the other reason I've come this way is because it does all connect to Castle Carr. I'm now above Pecketwell. On that hillside in the distance, you can't quite see it today, is Widdop Reservoir. And Widdop Reservoir feeds Pecketwell. And a construction was made of a tunnel to take the water from Pecketwell over this hill to Luddenden Dean. Now it's not a tunnel you can walk through or anything like that. I'm not even quite sure where the beginning of the tunnel is, but you can walk over the top of it, and there are some water towers. And each water tower, to get to the water, it's like 300 or 400 feet down just to reach the water. But it's quite an interesting trek over the top, so let's head there. Hello. And if nothing else, the skyline is going to look very dramatic. Work began on the Castle Carr Tunnel 13th of October 1869. It's officially 2,550 yards long, carrying the water from Widdop Reservoir between Peckett and Luddenden. Maybe it's just a bit of sea for it. Okay, so this little ruin behind me was originally a row of I think 2 or 3 cottages, built as quarryman cottages, because just across where the hill gets lumpy there, that's a quarry. It's the quarry for Pecketwell, and my great uncle lived in one of these and owned the quarry, certainly in the 1920s, and the stone from the quarry made Pecketwell War Memorial, the small Studley Pike version that sits on Smeaken Hill. But in amongst the ruin you might just be able to see that building there. That is a water tower, and that is a water tower above that tunnel that I mentioned that goes over to Castle Carr. I'm not going to drop down and look at that one from here today. I've covered this on another channel, and I'm not heading to the quarry today either. I'm heading up over the hill, and we'll see 2 more water towers above that tunnel. But yeah, maybe if there's some experts on site at Castle Carr, they might be able to tell us where the tunnel comes out at that side. So there's the water tower, which must come tunnel under here. You might just be able to make out the top of the next one there. Right, so this is the second water tower. Obviously we can get a bit closer to this one. I'm not going to be silly, I put my phone through to show you what's there. It is a 400-foot drop into the water and no access. So, yeah, not doing that. But yeah, I used to come up here all the time as a kid. I would bring pictures up of footballers I didn't like. I would stick them on there, knock them out with, I don't know what would the football magazine be, Total 90, something like that. And I had a catapult and used to fire them. So it went through there. Yeah, naughty time. It was good times, I'm sure. I've changed my mind. You'll see what I'm doing. So, you can hear the water, I'm sure, if the wind isn't too strong here. And so I want to show you what is inside. I'm not putting the phone through though, and then I'm going to be a bit cheeky. Just drop a rock down, and you can hear how far it falls, which is supposed to be 400 feet. So that's inside, there's a grid there. Okay, rock going in. Let's check how far it goes. Listen for the noise if you can. Oops. Round two. Here we go. Yep, my audience walks away in disgust. There's a reason I don't do science much on this channel. Sorry. Let's stick to the history, shall we? Okay, so yes, 400 feet to the water-ish. And the one further down is a good 300 feet to the water. And that's the last of the towers before the tunnel ends up at our destination today. And just so it's on record, tower number 3. Now that's quite terrifying because it looks like somebody's taken off the original grid. I just really hope I didn't climb into that. So those are obviously new. Once again, we might just be able to get a little look through if we can. No throwing rocks this time. This one is much higher up. I don't know what you can see. I'm just holding the camera up and down. That's as far as I can get. So as I navigate a bog and destroy my boots in the process, we get our first look at the valley of Luddenden Dean. Help. So I'm glad I've got here a bit earlier. Now I've navigated the bog of eternal stench. That is apparently the path down. The ferns. Just a sea of ferns taller than me. So I think I'm going to head on and see if I can join the group. I'm a bit picky with my walks. I'll walk with Tom and Danielle, of course, but they're my best pals. It's easy. I'm not happy I may suddenly be joined by 300 people, but it's worth it if we're going to see this fountain display. Maybe this one looks a bit better. Can't quite see it from here, but the ruin is just there somewhere. Okay, let me tell you all about Castle Carr. Castle Carr was originally built for Captain Joseph Priestley Edwards, and construction began on this Tudor/Norman style castle around 1859, and it was completed in 1867. A lavish building. Inside it there was an oak panelled banqueting hall 62 feet long. The building was also adorned with lots of animal carvings, including some on the fireplaces and a huge stone fountain just outside. Interestingly, that fountain can now be found in Leeds city centre. Extensive gardens surrounded the castle, including lakes and fountains. In the centre of one lake, the fountain shoots a jet of water 130 feet into the air. That is still today the second highest fountain in the UK. Captain Edwards was born in 1818 in Halifax. Sadly, he was killed in a train accident on the 20th of August 1868, alongside his eldest son, Priestley August. The train crash happened at Abergele. Edwards was apparently so badly burnt that he could only be identified by a bunch of keys. They and 31 other victims were buried near the scene of the accident. It was at the time the worst rail disaster in the UK. And sadly, Captain Edwards never moved into his castle. His other son completed the work, moved into it, but only for about 4 years. It was always a cold, damp, unloved building, and its location also saw it plagued by midges. It was also used as a hunting lodge for quite some time, as well as munitions storage in World War I, but was never lived in again and quickly fell into disrepair. In 1962, the now crumbling castle went to auction, but was unsold, so the decision was taken to demolish it. Well, at least the rain stopped for now. I'm sorry I've not managed to film much of the walk here, but it's basically been me battling through ferns since I was up in the bog, and my Doc Martens are absolutely wrecked. I don't even know if they'll survive getting there, let alone getting back. Look at them. It's like just given up the will to live. Fingers crossed. Don't look just as smart as I'd have liked to. However, it is a beautiful valley, of course. Just up on top there, I think that's another gatehouse. And beyond that is no public access. So most of what we are looking at today, like I said, is only accessible one day a year. And you know, I'm not going to lie to you, I have about 3 years ago came to see if we could access the castle, but no, it's very well sealed off, so it's nice to be able to come and do this legally, I suppose. And it's worth it. It's a nice day. So I can see yellow jackets. That's a good sign. Right, we're at the gatehouse. Yeah.
It's usually around tea time when it works.
And we're in, guys. We are in. Wow. So I think I'm ahead of the crowd, which is good. But yeah, that gate we've just come through, that's the one that's kind of double sealed. So, right. Well, look at that. So this bit is the remains of an old gasworks, apparently. It's incredibly peaceful. At least because there's no people here yet. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say at the minute. I think it's quite interesting that, you know, when you find old buildings today, although you'll have seen quite a lot of ruins on my channel and others, there are still quite a lot of old abandoned buildings and farms around. But back in the 50s and 60s, it was more common to just find these old buildings, especially in the Halifax area, I've found. And they would just try and sell them, nobody wanted them, and they were demolished or even dynamited and blown up and got rid of. And we've lost some amazing old buildings in this area, and Castle Carr's no exception. But when they couldn't sell it and the demolition team came in, it's quite interesting that the only reason there is a bit of it left and the stones are just piled everywhere is because something spooked the demolition team and they refused to come back and clear it completely. They were haunted by something here. I haven't been able to track down exactly what may have haunted them, or whether they were just fed up and wanted to be somewhere else. But yeah, let's see if we see anything else today. Okay, I've been on this path for quite a while now. Sure we will be at the castle any minute. Good grief. It's suddenly really warm. However, we are now entering a clearing and yay, I can see it. Wow, look at that old ruin over there. And there's another one up on the hill there, but again I think all that is totally private and inaccessible. Can you see the castle? And another. My goodness. Below the castle, all these ruins. Wow. Here we go, folks. One of the two most elusive places I've tried to reach. One is a certain dungeon in Sheffield, which you might remember. Failed there. And this one is finally getting ticked off the list. Now, all these piles of rock you can see are what they couldn't sell, essentially. If you look at it, you can see how they are sculptured and would have been inside at the time. So sorry guys, you will get other people's voices in the background. Wow. At this side we have, you can see the old kitchens. So look at these just hanging about in the undergrowth. Wow, that's amazing. And over here, you can see all the carvings. I haven't filmed much there because the group just turned up, so I'm going to head to the next destination and then maybe have lunch. It's amazing just that tiny section remains. It's a bit of a shame you can't get any nearer to it, but you know, they don't want 300 people going and climbing over it. So the other major part of what's here are the fountains and gardens. I don't think you can walk through the gardens and pools anymore. Obviously the fountain is something to really bring people here to have a look. So we'll head there. See you there. Ice cream time. Okay, so we have headed down towards where the fountains will be. I think just beyond here, it's not in this water, it's the next bit. So again, we're faced with a barrier, but this is where the fountain comes up from. Okay, so about an hour early, and that's fine. Look at this prime viewing slot. If I can stand to be here for about an hour with these midges. That's a story about the castle was plagued with midges, and it seems to be still happening here as well. But yeah, let's see if we can put up with this for an hour.
Look in the snails. Right, come on, sit down now, sir.
We used to go
So there we are. How amazing was that? It was well worth staying down at the front for an hour, being bitten to death by midges, to watch the fountain for 20 minutes. I don't think it'll do it justice on the video. It's the fact it just keeps going and going and going, and then reaches its peak somewhere around 130 feet into the air. Yeah, that's quite... to do that for 20 minutes before gravity takes hold of it. It's quite an impressive spout. One last look at the castle and the ruins. Okay, so there we go. So that is our visit to the ruins of Castle Carr and its still magnificent fountain. Yeah, a real shame it's that's all there is left of it, and it's only when you are next to it and see how big that bed is, and then look at the picture of how that is compared to how big the whole place was. Yeah, wow, must have been huge. My auntie remembers it, and I think my granddad did some work here at one point, possibly when there was a shooting lodge, because you would be at these huge places. He did things like Crag Hall, for example. Yeah, wow. And the sun's still out. So much for the thunderstorm. Okay, I'm waffling once again. So I will probably end up somewhere this week, but where I know I am heading off is on a plane at the end of the week, and I'm off on holiday. I may well film things there, I don't know, but if not, I will see you very soon, and we're not too far away either from our Scotland road trip, where we find the birthplace of Peter Pan, a few abandoned castles, and a very famous cannibal cave. Okay guys, enjoy the rest of what sunshine we have. It's England, might be over in 10 seconds. See you soon, bye bye. I told you the ferns were bigger than me. See ya. If you've enjoyed this video, leave us a comment, and why not like, share and subscribe to the dark side of the moor.